Yo, yo, yo. This is
Oh my
double O.
God.
What's going on, guys? Once again, it's 007, the James Bond of this here wicked shit. Back to you again with my man,
Mr. Reef in the house.
Mr. Reef, aka Violent J, the motherfucking country singer. Sorry, guys, we missed a week last week. It was just one of those weird ones, but we're fucking back. And we're going to be reviewing something that has been touched on for the last couple weeks so heavily that we have to give our fucking opinion on it. Violent J's solo album recently released, Bloody Sunday. You know what I'm saying? But before that, before we get into all them shenanigans and the hodgepodge of an album that he put out, I want to start a new segment. Me and Mr. Reef here, we discussed that, we are covering the wicked shit, but there's a lot of wicked shit out there that is relatively unknown. Yes, a lot of people, have, delved into the many rabbit holes of the wicked shit from coast to coast, even internationally, which I really haven't. Have you ever heard any German wicked shit?
I haven't.
I know there's some though. I mean, I don't really desire to, but I guess I would have to check it out since it's supposed to be wicked shit. But anyway, I would like to share with you guys. This is Doomsday Productions, Embrace the Darkness. Let me give you a little bit of background before I share the track with you guys. Doomsday Productions.
Who are these people?
They're from Las Vegas, Nevada. They dropped their first album, 15. You'll see the album listed as XV, but it's 15 in Roman numerals. In 1994. That's when I first heard them. I heard them around the time Brother Lynch dropped his second album, Loaded, and I immediately fell in love. And I was listening to them I've probably been listening to them for like the past 20, 23 years for real. And they've been relatively slept on. Like a lot of people here on the western side of the map know who they are just because, their relationship with people in California and New Mexico, shit like that. But they kind of fell into obscurity. They had a big, big, big following from around, let's say 97 through like 2004, 2005-ish. And then I think they disbanded or fell apart, as usual, with a lot of these underground groups. Either they get tired of the struggle, not being recognized. They sign shitty deals that think that might blow them up and do them good. Maybe even drugs sometimes. But for them, I think they had a dispute over some money. I think that's what led to their, split. But I would love to see them come back. Maybe I might be disappointed, but I would love to see Doomsday Productions make a return or just come into the media. Come start telling the story. A lot of people want to hear Doomsday Productions' story in detail. I know I'm a nerd like that. I'm a mark for history and knowledge of shit that I love. You know what I'm saying?
That's all it is. I mean, everything is history at this point. I mean,
Exactly.
We're making history right now. So actually, I'm just looking at these guys here on the back of the cover, and what are their names? I see one is Playboy 7 and one is Pitt. What's this other guy's name?
That's Eclipse. And yes, I was going to say, Eclipse is probably one of the most slept on. All right, so I would compare this group here to Nadas. They're like West Coast Nadas. Eclipse would be the TNT of the group, the dude with the distinct voice. He's the second verse on this song. Playboy 7 would be the Esham. For one, he bankrolled, Doomsday Productions for their whole career. So he's like the Esham. And Pitt is TNT. They're literally like if you start going through their discography and you start playing Nodus and Doomsday side by side, their catalog, you can kind of see the dynamic, and it's not just because they're a trio. They could definitely be a trio and have no similarities to Nodus whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? I see comparisons, especially with, the subject matter and stuff like that. I don't think these dudes are as wicked. I don't think they're horror, because at the same time, all while, doing what we call horrorcore or wicked shit, they still had to cater to their surroundings, which incorporate. So this wicked shit of the West Coast is so fascinating because it incorporates horror, street shit, like street politics, gang violence, and then it also incorporates like G-funk, like lowrider culture and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Isham has mentioned stuff like that in his music. Don't get me wrong, of course, but it's like something. It seems like the West Coast horrorcore or wicked shit artist, you've always noticed like they keep it real West Coast. You can tell that they're from the West Coast damn near. I remember in the 90s though, it was kind of different. It was kind of hard to tell because a lot of places outside of the West Coast were adapting the West Coast sound. Like, for example, Nodus's second album, Blasphemy, man, that sounded like a straight West Coast album. Like, I think that's what Isham was going for throughout the production of that album. But, a lot of people, were using that sound. It was just such a popular sound at that time. Like 92, 93, 94. It was the G-Funk era, you had Warren G and all them, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people incorporated, even people like before, like down south had an identity, like Master P. Master P is a great example. I don't know if you are too familiar, but before he became Mr. Na, he was like straight West Coast Bay Area mob shit. His music sounded completely different from what it became. He had a complete West Coast sound. And if you're wondering, he still couldn't rap for shit, but he was rapping over West Coast beats. A lot of artists,
I like him.
For me, he's more nostalgic than anything because when he came out, he took the world by storm. Like, he had one of the biggest runs in the rap game. Like, let me tell you, man, like, I knew folks that had a Master P pull string doll. You pull the string on the back and it said, na. Like, real shit. And the motherfucker had gold teeth too. Like nigga, some real ghetto shit. This nigga, like, real shit. Master P had cell phone. Like, he really capitalized off of his 15 minutes and 15 seconds of fame. He is a legend now, of course. What he did will never be done again. I mean, it's artists like him, man. Like, we got to keep coming back to this, this independent grind shit. Like ICP, Master P. Let's talk about people of the 90s, independent artists of the 90s that were really making it happen. And we got to put ICP in there.
He was such an icon because I remember shopping for grade school, and you would get Trapper Keepers, and there was a Trapper Keeper with Master G, and it was Garfield.
It's probably
and he had the hip hop clothes on. Yeah, he had like a chain, and he had baggy clothing, and he had like that female Garfield cat character in the background.
That's just so funny.
The fact that it was parodied on children's school merchandise. That's just how big this guy was.
Yeah, no, he
even if you didn't know his music. Yeah,
exactly. Like, for real shit. Like a lot of people who did not listen to his music at least were familiar with him, which is not an easy thing to do. It was hard enough for Snoop Dogg to do that. but Snoop Dogg just had a certain. So I think we talked about this off stream before, and he had just a certain type of characteristic. But what I was alluding to was independent. How big it was and how much it mattered to be an independent artist and actually being successful, because we have to give it to people like E40, the independent grind, selling tapes out of your trunk, Master P, ICP, Esham, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think Violent J mentioned being inspired by Master P, and how he started up his label. You don't think so?
No.
Well, maybe I made that up in my head. But anyway,
that's Tech Nine. Also, no. Let's actually for content and for notation. Let's go ahead and because that comes from when Tech Nine and Violent J had a back and forth. Tech Nine was trying to completely deny that he got his whole blueprint from ICP and Violent J and them. And instead, he said he got it all from Master P, which, as a fucking juggalo, I don't care. That nigga Tech is lying. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that ICP is 100% responsible for Tech's blow up or anything, but they played a huge part. And I believe from the bottom of my heart that he got his blueprint from them as far as merch and the way everything is structured, as far as like, having a warehouse and doing everything in house. And I remember them having a back and forth that stemmed from a Hot 97 interview that Hot 97 kind of instigated, which, you can't put it past them. And they're a radio station that has, you got to think, man, radio stations are declining in ratings. So what's the best thing to do? Create controversy, create some type of gossip. Even on the underground level, that Tech and Violent J are on, they still utilize that to stir up some controversy. Anyway, back.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, more some other time, I'm sure we will. But
of course.
So you want to actually? What do you want to call this segment?
I don't know, man. Shit that you should check out. I don't know. Track of the day.
Should check out. If we're trying to, like, we could call it like something to do with school, because we're trying to inform people on this podcast. If they want to know about these lesser known artists that are within the realm of wicked shit.
Well, all right. So check it out. Throughout the episode, let's see if we think of something by the end of the episode. Because right now I'm on the spot and I'm thinking about a million other things. But what I would like to do is play a snippet. This is Playboy 7's verse from Embrace the Darkness. We're gonna go ahead and check it out, and we'll speak on it after it plays.
All right, let's go.
Gotta embrace the dark. There can be no darkness if there is no light. There can be no wrong if there is no right. There is no Jesus if there is no Satan. There is no loving if there is no hating. Let me ponder for a moment before I speak. Backslide of the year, cause I embrace evilness. Accept it, detect it, cause goodness is hectic. And I don't got time trying to be what someone else expected. I'm a whole lot of fun. Mistopheles, easily led astray by a couple G's. I believe pimping hoes is a sin, and I believe I'll embrace that particular sin again. I love Jesus Christ in his glory and grace, but I also love sperming on a fucking slut's face. I try doing right, but usually I'm wrong. And I don't go to church, I confess in rap songs. Bill Clinton embraces the darkness. OJ embraces the darkness. Ike Turner embraces the darkness. Doomsday embraces the darkness. First there was darkness, then came the light. That's the reason.
Yeah, so it's Playboy 7's verse, yes.
That just puts it out there plainly.
Yes. It sure the fuck does, man. This song is always spoke to me in a lot of ways because I think I've discussed this before, man. I came up in the church, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I was a church boy. Like the first years of my life were all spent in church. You know what I'm saying? I mean, luckily my mom was kind of what you would call like a backslider because she couldn't stay away from hip hop, and she also lived a different kind of lifestyle, which one day maybe we'll touch on that. But anyway, so I was able to still hear rap, and but early on, I seen a lot of the hypocrisy and a lot of the evil that went in and went on inside of those churches. And when I started hearing songs like this, it reminded me of the people that portray themselves to, you know, be without sin. And at the end of the day, we're all prone to do bad shit. And I feel like when you embrace your darkness, your inner darkness, because we all have it. A lot of people will choose to ignore it, act like it doesn't exist, holier than thou. They like to throw rocks, hide their hands, you know, type shit. A person like me, I'd rather embrace that shit. Because, like, well, think about it. If you don't know where you're going wrong at, how can you really change for real? It's like,
Yeah, you can't be in denial.
Exactly. You can't be not denial. It's like knowing you have a mess at your house. You can ignore it all you want, but it's gonna be there until you clean it up. And embracing the darkness, I mean, a lot of us have shit that we need to embrace. You know, some of it sucks. Like it's not like, oh yeah, my darkness is that I like to fuck hoes without condoms. No, like some people's darkness is the fact that they're hooked on opioids. Some people's darkness is that they don't know how to manage their depression. Some people's darkness is just, you know, wicked shit, you know. So the more you embrace it, the more that you have control over it. That's just what I take from it. I'm not trying to get all deep and philosophical and therapeutical and, you know, all that good shit, you know. I'm not trying to get all
but
on you.
That's what the song is suggesting, and it reminds me of some other lyrics that Necro used in a song called "A World Gone Mad." If you remember that one,
yes.
And then that song itself used lyrics that were also in a song by Flatliners.
Yep. Hey, oh man, I love the Flatliners, man, for sure.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's original lyrics. I think it is for Flatliners.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, there's some other controversy pertaining to nonfiction and the Flatliners that one day we will cover. It's an interesting story, and I'll make sure to get my sources so we can actually go through it through and through. But yes, a lot of people try to write off this kind of music, horrorcore or wicked shit as we call it, as just being for pure shock and awe. But a lot of it does have some wholesomeness to it, you know, like you can get a message out of anything if you're listening hard enough. But I will say there's a lot of newer wicked shit that is just wicked shit. They're just saying stuff to shock you or try to scare you or something. Like, but shit like this is
especially starting in like from the last 20 years, definitely is just a whole slew of people making just violent music that's just blah, blah. That's not philosophical. Yeah, not philosophical like this. At least to me.
And that's what, you know, and that's what I love the wicked about, you know, Eshawn, these groups like this. They were actually, yes, what they're doing, if you ask me, yes, they're putting extras on shit, but they're just exposing the grim reality of the streets, the grim reality of their truth, the grim reality of their life, and none of it.
So, do you think people like? Do you think people like Ouija Mac and Hex were hip to Doomsday Productions?
I would like to think so. I wish somebody would ask that question. I really hope so. And I would like to think so because yes, in Doomsday, when Doomsday was doing tours and shit, back in the day, they did have like a lot of juggalo artists, like, you know, underground, like mini Twisteds and shit, like touring with them. So I would really hope so. I'd be disappointed if he didn't know who Doomsday Productions were. I would really be shocked. Somebody needs to catch him on one of his live streams or something, or maybe we'll catch him at the gathering. We'll just ask him, and I'd like to ask him what kind of toothpaste he uses.
Toothpaste. Yeah, because I know Ouija Mac is from Nevada.
Yeah, he's from Las Vegas.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing that track. I always like hearing new stuff, and you sent me something else by Doomsday Productions, but this one had that one verse that you just played that'll always stick with me. Like, I like nothing on a bitch's face.
Yeah, man, what's wrong with nothing on a bitch's face? You're just speaking your truth. Yeah, like he said.
Yeah, like I love Jesus and amazing. Yeah.
I love Jesus Christ and all his glory and grace, but I also love sperming on a fucking slut's face. Like, yeah, you can't, like, man, that's the truth. Like, we all or horn dogs, and when you try to act like you're not, man, what do you look like? You know what I'm saying?
That's I'll never forget that lyric. It's like sometimes, you know, the more you read the Bible, the more you want to do something nasty like.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember one time I was reading one chapter, man, and one of the books of the Bible, man, and my dick started getting hard. I don't know why, man. I don't know.
I can relate to that.
You ever jack off to the Bible? I'm just playing. I'm fucking around, man. I know that's crazy.
Yeah, well, this is turning into a Clockwork Orange now.
Naked. Woo. Good shit.
That's a raunchy book right there. Okay. Well, so the title of this episode is going to be about Bloody Sunday, this is a landmark album. I didn't expect it to be when it was announced, because it was like, oh, guess what? By the way, next month, forget about we're gonna do this solo album, Violent J.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of singles that came out on Halloween. And they're kind of odd choices for singles, because one of them's a real slow track, and then the other one is Something's in My Room. And after hearing this album, I feel like it was an odd way to introduce this album. But yeah, I kind of wish I had waited till I heard the whole album, because I wasn't enthusiastic about this at first.
Yeah, neither was I, honestly. When it comes down to solo projects, man, I really do feel like this is just my opinion too, man. I really do feel like Jay needs somebody to bounce off of. If you think about it, bro, like The Shining was decent. I found songs that I like off of it, but it's not one of, like, at the end of the day, Shaggy has better solo albums than Violent J does. Okay, Wizard of the Hood is a classic, but I do not consider that a Violent J solo album. That's a compilation.
Maybe a collaboration, but also it's just a certain kind of production in itself. And
exactly.
it's an EP. It's like one continuous song almost. So,
yeah, it really is. I mean, I fucking love that album, by the way. Which,
yeah, everybody loves that one. But
you'd be
to call
crazy.
it a Violent J solo album, it's only that way because you can't really call it anything else.
Yeah, no, you can.
It came from his mind. You know, he was it's like Violent J Presents would probably be
yeah,
how I would have labeled it.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. Violent J presents Wizard of the Hood. You know,
Yeah.
but what my point I was getting to is, I really think that I'm not saying that Violent J is an inadequate or incapable rapper, but I feel like he works best when having not necessarily a guest artist or another person like on the song contributing verses or anything, but just someone to bounce off of, you know, like he used Young Wicked at one point. Don't get me wrong, I can't stand Young Wicked, but the purpose that he served with Jay, just as that bouncing and ad-libbing partner, did good. And that's what I feel like is missing from this album. I didn't hear any type of Shaggy in, like, as far as backgrounds or anything, not a verse, but Shaggy has contributed at least backgrounds, ad-libs, shit like that on most of Jay's solo albums.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hear none of that on this.
Right. This was definitely his most personal album to date. With The Shining, and that started as an album that ended up being called The Gatekeeper. That was released at like the 2008 gathering, and that originally had other tracks with Esham. Knock Knock is one of my favorite tracks. It didn't make it on the mainstream release, which was disappointing.
Yeah, no, I heard, but it's if you are you ready to start rolling this bad boy, or
I want to keep talking about Violent J here.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, this was his first personal album. The Shining, at first, it wasn't supposed to come out, and then people kept asking for it, so they cleaned it up a bit and added some new tracks and made it what it was. It's not something I ever listened to. It has its moments. It had Fight Club with Esham and Necro, and like between the three of them, those are my favorite rappers ever. And I don't feel like that came together right. It's just not one of my favorite tracks, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you look at it, like there was the EP of Wizard of the Hood, and then The Shining, which shouldn't have come out really, but now there's this, and it seems like this album was he had been working on this album even before what happened last Halloween, which was another huge event, with the death of Laney. So it's been tough times for him, it sounds like. But it sounds like this has been his way to work through that. And oddly enough, this album is pretty humorous for how dark it is.
Yeah, no, it is very humorous. I would say, and that's the thing. That's where I kind of disagree in a point. I don't really see it as too much of a personal album. I do see that there are personal elements and intimate elements within some of the songs, but to me, it sounds like maybe he's just keeping himself from getting rusty, in a sense, like, because there are some great songs on this thing.
Yeah.
But he did phone it in a couple times. I was like, wait, you had me until you got to this point. Like, maybe he just came in and fixed some shit at the last minute, and that's how he turned it in or whatever. But overall, I couldn't say this isn't as deep as Violent J gets. Yes, there's a lot of dark elements to this, but I know Violent J can get darker. We've heard it.
Yeah, I do see that. And another point I wanted to make here, and I guess we can start playing the album here. It's exactly like you said. This is an example of him just, making sure that his skills don't get rusty. And I feel that he puts his best work on the mainstream ICP albums, like the big ones, like the Joker's cards. And if there's, any kind of criticism for this album, it's because it's not that kind of album where the full craft, this isn't like the example of what Violent J is capable of. This is something he had to put out for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm just making sure it's not too loud. There we go.
Yeah.
As far as
that's great.
I will say, man, like I gotta give it to Devereaux and Shaggy the Airhead. They're really showing that they are worth, putting faith in as producers. They're making sure that they're solidifying themselves within the game and demanding the respect. I think they did great on a lot of these tracks, man. They have. I will say that Shaggy the Airhead or Devereaux, they have like this specific sound. Like this song kind of has elements from Fuck Regret off of Yum Yum Bedlam. Like I can hear similarities. So that's how I like without any type of beat tag or anything or producer tag. I knew that this was one of them. I don't have the production notes in front of me right now, which I can get to, but I can tell you right now, this is either Devereaux or Shaggy the Airhead. I'll tell you that right now. But I like what he did. This classic Violent J, that intro, I liked it. That was a good intro to me. I don't know how you feel, but I'll leave that up to you.
The intro, it is Devereaux. It sounds like it reminded me of one of like the Ouija Mac beats that he makes a lot of. And
yep.
I really liked how Violent J used his voice on this album, not just for rapping, but for singing also. And he's singing on the intro. And it was more than I was expecting. Like that's a track in itself. That's more than their usual intro.
And it's funny you say that because you probably heard me say it even in our personal conversations. I felt like Jay's singing voice is gone forever, but he's actually kind of proved me wrong on this here album because there's a couple times that he's actually singing. He's letting us. It's like him letting us know that he still has it. Not only keeping himself from getting rusty, but letting us know that he still got this in the bag. He is still Violent J. Yes, there are parts on this album where he doesn't perform that well, but he's letting us know, like, don't count me out yet. Yeah, this is a dark time for me, but I'm still in this bitch. I'm still Violent J, and I that's what I love about it.
Yeah, and with the singing on this album, I feel like it's his best singing so far, but he still does that thing where he makes his voice crack, and I feel like that's a thing that rappers do when they don't want to be seen as soft, or he's still trying to keep it like I'm not really singing, but he can sing. I do believe that.
The motherfucker
and
can sing his ass off.
He also has his ugly ass face on the album cover. It's hidden in the background in a clever way, but it's there finally.
Yeah, maybe I missed that part. But me
really?
personally, I just
look at the upper left-hand corner. He's in the bodies.
Ah, look at that ugly motherfucker. That's so funny. That's hella funny. Now I can't unsee it. I cannot unsee that shit. That's crazy. That's cool.
Fantastic.
That put a smile on my face for real. Actually, I like Bloody Sunday. I don't know how popular it is, but I like the title track a lot. It actually kind of takes me back to that, like that Mike P. Kuma era. No, I mean Mike P. Fritz era, like 04 ish. You know, like I love the vibe of this album. I was a big fan of that Fritz the Cat and Mike P era. And I think. Do you have the production notes up right now? This is a Mike P. or Kuma.
I have most of it memorized. I believe this one was Kuma.
Kuma, okay. Sounds like it. I mean,
yeah, Kuma's a chameleon. He can make all kinds of different beats, but I do believe this is one of Kuma's.
Yeah. No, this sounds like a Kuma. I mean, I'm not trying to shit. I just gave Devereaux and Shaggy the Airhead their props, but I don't think they could do anything like this. That's just my opinion. But they have their style and they have their sound. But
the only Shaggy the Airhead track on this album is The Herder.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, to me,
but
this
yeah,
don't sound disrespectful, but Shaggy the Airhead and Devereaux are like one and the same to me. Until they start doing something different, like then I can't really differentiate between the two.
Mm-hmm.
They just both make like.
Yeah, you mentioned that this reminded you of the old Mike P days, and just that on this album, he is pulling from a lot of his different rhyme schemes from the past.
Yeah. And you're right. And I noticed too, a couple of these tracks, I noticed like his voice is like back. Like there's a couple of songs on here where he sounded like the old Jay, like 03, 04, 05 Jay. You know what I'm saying? Like
for sure. Yeah, like this track in particular reminded me of one of his old flows that I used myself, and it was like I shitted my brain out. It finally happened. I entirely read the encyclopedia crapping. That's a line I wrote when I was, just Violent J in my head.
Yeah.
It has that same kind of flow. So this is one he's used.
Yeah, keep talking, brother. I gotta step away real quick.
Okay. So sounds like we're heading into Clown Blood here. And this one has probably my favorite production on the whole album. This was Kuma, and the sounds on this track, it's got like a siren kind of sound to it. And then just some crazy synthesizer. And this is where Violent J is just flexing his new lyrical abilities. I feel like he's come a long way in the last couple years. And this flow that Violent J has been using as of late is one of my favorites. The chorus, honestly, is fun, but it leaves something to be desired. I feel like this track could have been a little bit better, but I do enjoy the energy and the flow that Violent J is using on this track. Buttholes full of gerbils. This is where the beat starts getting real wacky and crazy. Hats off to Kuma. He makes so many different kinds of beats. He's just a jack of all trades when it comes to beats, and this is some hot, modern sounding stuff. It actually reminds me of like something like old school synthesizer crazy shit by Devo or something.
I can hear that. It sounds EDM-ish to me, for sure.
Right, for sure. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
one
then,
thing.
and then toward the end, it sounds like he's got like giggle sticks kind of sound in there. Remember those old toys where you go wiggle, wiggle,
Yeah,
wiggle, wiggle.
yeah. Only thing I kind of just maybe I'm just slow or something, but I just don't I don't understand this song too well. Like
It's a lot of
clown. I don't.
nonsense. He's
A
just
lot of
rapping
it.
a lot of nonsense, and it kind of fits the theme because he's a clown. He's
It's
he's out of his mind. He's saying funny, weird shit.
it's almost like he was making
Music's all clowny and colorful.
like a club like a club banger, especially with the hook. Fuck you, everybody on the east side. Fuck yeah, and then, like that's like some old crunk, Little John Crunk type shit. Like I mean,
Yeah,
overall, I do like the structure of the song, but this wasn't the highlight for me. I didn't really like it when it was a single, personally, but it's a good song though. I still won't skip it, when it comes on. I'll let the album play through, but it's not something I would
yeah.
just go straight to.
I just like the energy and the sound of the song. He's got a great flow, but the lyrics are nonsense, and then the chorus doesn't really mean anything. And by the third verse, he's just saying, "My dick's this, your dick's that, man." Like that has nothing to do with that. Like that doesn't even fit the mold anymore. So that's like the perfect example of him just practicing on
Yeah,
this
yep.
album.
He's just keeping himself from getting rusty, which I cannot hate on at all, man. It's important to his craft. If he wants to ensure that you can get a couple more albums out of ICP, out of himself, he has to keep himself well lubricated, a well-oiled machine. At the end of the day, he has been credited as the brain of the group. I mean, like everything that we know of as far as the Dark Carnival, all this shit is him. So it's very important that he keeps himself keeps himself relevant and doesn't fade into obscurity and just
Mhm.
let himself fall off.
Absolutely. And he's always been the workaholic,
Yeah.
so
And it kind of hasn't helped him over the years. We can kind of see how it's deteriorated his mental health in a lot of ways. And speaking of, this is actually I'm not trying to join the bandwagon here. I actually enjoy the shit out of this song.
really.
I really do, like in the whole. I really do. I love the beat. I love how he's approaching, his cadence. It brings me back to that old Jay. And this is like one of those things like, look, man, I'll tell you what, I wanted to come in and find so much shit to not like about this album. Because
Mm.
it's new Jay. And, just from what I've seen from Jay so far and in recent time, I've kind of been disappointed a couple times. So, like again, I will continue to stress he has proved me wrong. He still has it. Like that
Now
cadence,
this
his
this
singing.
track at first, yeah, that flow he uses on this track, I've heard on another track. I can't think of it, but it was like something something honest promise. I've heard this flow on another ICP related track. Can't think
You
of it
know
right now.
what is it? It reminds me of the song off of Yum Yum Bedlam that the video they're like standing outside by some trade tracks in the snow. I forget what it's called, man.
That one. Yeah, it has similar production and a feel to it. You're thinking of. It sounded like that one Nine Inch Nails song.
Yeah, I have to pull up the
Hurt.
track.
Devil Road.
Right now, like watch, hold on. Yeah, this sounds just
Uh,
like that song. One second.
Yeah, I was, I wasn't a big fan of that song either. But actually, this one has grown on me a lot. It to me, it doesn't have enough of a tune, but it has gotten stuck in my head, and the lyrics have grown on me.
Yeah.
Um,
Ain't no time.
uh,
That's what this shit reminds me of.
Ain't no time. Yeah, that one. No, I
Yeah.
didn't make that connection, but it does have like a similar feel to it.
It really does. But
Yeah.
it's a good bag. I think this is the era. Like it's the sound for this era for them. If you ask me, like they perform very well on tracks like this. And then there is a specific type of Devereaux track or Devereaux Shaggy the Airhead, one and the same to me, that they perform on the best, and
This is Devereaux, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
okay, yeah, see, no, they're doing their fucking thing on this, and he sounds great on it, bro. We can't you can't deny that. Like, yeah, he's doing his fuck. Yeah, man, listen to that, bro. Yeah, he did his motherfucking thing on that, man. He actually vocally experimented on that part too. He carried out that whole note.
Yeah.
Okay.
He likes to make this kind of music. And I encourage him to keep going, maybe moving out of the rap thing, if he wants to. He's been doing like the 80s ballad, the 80s love ballad, or
some of that
whatever
shit
it's called. And I like that they're doing what they want now. And I would rather hear them do what they want than try and cater to the audience.
Yeah, if they always catered to the juggalos, bro, they would have their career would have went down the toilet, truthfully, because that's something I also want to touch on real quick. Hold on. Juggalos, we gotta just accept what the fuck they give us. I know they don't always deliver. Hold on 1 second. I got a small rant to get off real quick. I'll pause it right here real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
This shit here, this shit really pisses me off, I've been so critical of them too, you know what I'm saying? But we want so much from ICP. We don't know how to just appreciate the fact that we're still getting music from them. And they're actually, Jay's proven to us now that he's trying to make quality shit. He's not just, pouring some shit in a bucket, stirring it up, and then shipping it out to us because we're juggalos and we'll eat it all up and we're going to order it. We're going to buy it anyway. A lot of juggalos will sit there and bitch and be like, see, they're just out here for the money. Yeah, see, he just, we'll buy anything because we're juggalos, and that's how Violent J thinks, blah, 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 blah. If you think that he's that egregious, why the fuck do you fuck with him then? Why are you anticipating shit from him if you think he's just the money-hungry fucking greedy bastard? You know what I'm saying? The way a lot of, so-called juggalos do paint him. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you fuck with him, you fuck with him. Everybody's prone to mistakes. Just like, he's a human at the end of the day. And, we just got to be appreciative that we're actually getting material from him. I didn't, for a while there after Laney's death, bro, I didn't think that. I thought there was a big possibility that, Jay might have said, fuck this shit. I know that's unrealistic. Eventually he would have came back, but, a lot of us didn't know where this shit was going to go. You know what I'm saying?
Understandably. Yeah, understandably. I would have been totally okay if they said, you know what, we're going to take a year off just to get our heads together. And they do seem to be in sort of their own kind of phase, but it sounds like they're still ready to continue making music individually for right now is the message we're getting, which is still, it's incredible. These guys.
It is. I will say though, as the child, the young juggalo in me is kind of this is kind of weird because I've never seen a point like this to where the group ICP is basically on a hiatus. I've never seen this before. And at the end of the day, we're not there, so we don't know what's going on for real. We don't know what they're discussing or what they're doing. But I've just never seen this type of shit happen before, to where, as a group, I mean, they're still doing shit solo, but as a group, they're on hiatus. I know they will never break up. I know that, I mean, we can't never say what, never say never, but I hope they don't. But I've just never seen an era like this to where they're basically on like separation mode. So
Yeah. They said never.
Something I know.
They said never, and I'm taking them at their word. I truly believe that. I truly believe when Shaggy said that we'll never break up. But
it's kind of late for that, don't you think? Like, I mean, all these years you would break up.
No, that's not going to happen. That's not who they are. Like they are each other's lives in a way.
Yeah, exactly. They're brothers for real, man. They're
actually family.
Yeah, so, like I can't ever, like, honestly, their friendship has really molded how I think of friendships. That's why I think anybody that I connect with, bro, like I try to connect with them and build an actual friendship rather than, carry the persona of, today's social constructs to where, you're supposed to be wary and scared of everyone, keep everybody at arm's length. Yes, of course, you have to use judgment and discernment. But when you're really trying to connect with someone, like when you really are trying to build a friendship, be sincere about it, be genuine. And that's what I got from Jay and ICP and their friendship, seeing how close their bond was, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I love about it, man. So to see them at a point like this is kind of concerning, but I know that they're going to bounce back. You're going to lose my camera real quick for a second, but you'll still be able to hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, you're good. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, you were getting... You want to pause it here for a second?
Yeah, no, I was actually going to restart the album. I didn't know if you had any more to elaborate on the what I'll say in my little rant.
Okay, because I'm seeing something here in the StreamYard. So there was a recording error?
Oh, it's just because I turned my camera off. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right, yeah, now it's saying uploading recordings. You sure everything's okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still recording, bro.
Okay, so cool.
It's all good. Yeah, we're gonna leave this.
But yeah, as far as we'll leave this in. Who cares? As far as the juggalos and their endless complaining online, that's just something typical of any fandom. Of something that's been around for so long. Like ICP is a band from the 90s. And so you're going to have a large chunk of people that are basically nostalgia addicts.
Exactly.
And they're just going to want continual re-releases, either stuff that sounds like the 90s, which they'll never get because it's not the 90s anymore. And they just want to keep buying something that sounds like something they heard when they were kids. Every fandom has this kind of fan, so it's not just juggalos, it's just people. That's just how they are. I'm glad that ICP hasn't succumbed to all that, and they really are artists, and that's why I still fuck with them. I did take a long time where I took a break from ICP, but I came back because they've proven themselves to just be actual legitimate artists. So that's what I appreciate. They grow, they change, and I never really know what to expect from them.
Yeah, they keep you guessing. And as far as the Juggalo community, man, I notice a lot of people like I can't really question whether they're juggalos or not. I can't say that because I'm not the end all be all juggalo myself. But I notice the people that get mad the most are the people that are basically collectors, but like I don't know, man. It's like they run like miniature, like it's like they're buying all the ICP shit up just so they can mark it up and sell it later. And then they're like posing as juggalos, but like I said, man, I can't say whether they are or not, or what makes you a real juggalo or this, that, and the third. That's some gatekeeper type of shit that I don't get down with. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just don't like.
Right.
If I was gonna say what type of juggalo I don't
like I consider those people family, but I can't say that it feels the same.
Yeah, like bro, have you been on Psychopathic Vault lately?
Yeah.
If you notice, I've never seen it be like this. I mean, I understand there is a lot of juggalos and they probably Psychopathic doesn't print up as much merch as they used to as far as clothing wise, but man, I'll tell you what, I've never seen things sell out so quickly just in one size. One size, bro. Like no, actually 2 sizes, even 3, the 3Xs, 4Xs, and 5Xs, bro. Like they sell out in minutes, unless it's because of the rate that Psychopathic is pressing shirts and shit up like that. But I'm like, this is weird. Even with hats too. Like, bro, it's I don't know, it's just quite strange. Like, and then you're starting to see shit pop up on fucking eBay for like damn near double the price.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, that's some corny ass shit, bro. Like, you motherfuckers are leeches, and I hope no one. I mean, and you know what's crazy? Motherfuckers like me will have to just resort to buying that shit if I really want to wear it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like now I gotta go to this fucking.
Think about the kids, man.
Real shit, bro. Goddamn. Like
I remember, being a little Star Wars kid in Walmart, and I'm looking at the Star Wars toys on the, hanging there on the wall, and some guy comes along and he's just taking his whole arm and putting them all in his shopping cart and just looking at me like, yeah.
Exactly. Greedy fucking bastards, like for real, man. Like, yeah, all right. I mean, their response could be like, well, cut some weight and then you could just wear a 1X. But I don't want to wear a 1X. I want my motherfucking 4X. God damn it. like for real, man. Like that shit's fucking stupid. Why do you guys have to buy it all up at once, man? Like shit. And
that's some whole ass shit.
And half these motherfuckers are spending up their mama's money and shit, man. And man, like don't get me started. That shit really fucking pisses me off, bro. I mean, maybe I sound like a salty loser because I didn't get there quick enough, but there's somebody out there somewhere constantly hitting refresh on Psychopathic Vault, waiting for the new shit to come out so they could just buy it all up in one whop. Man, that's fucking foolish. Let me have some, nigga. And if anybody's watching right now, any juggalos out there that want to sell me a shirt for the actual price, don't mark my shit up. Hey, I'll buy it. We could do some business. But if you're trying to treat me like a dope fiend, like, oh yeah, if you really want it, you're gonna buy it. Like that's basically the equivalent of you asking me to suck your dick. And if we're in person, I'd probably slap the shit out you. Just sell me a motherfucking shirt, man. That's all I want.
That's like Michael Jackson buying up the Beatles catalog and telling Paul, oh, it's just business.
It's just business? Okay, I'll show niggas some business. Don't let me show up at the gathering and start taking shirts from motherfuckers. I'm just playing. No, I'm not going to do nothing like that. I come in peace. I come in peace. I come in pieces, okay? But no, man, it's just the state. Some of us, I'm glad that there's juggalos like us, me, you, Keezy and Carver. Who else is out there, brother? like our guys, DC Fago guy, Gage Von Wild, that actually have their head on decently
bunch
straight.
of other people we don't know. So yeah,
You know, and I can't.
I feel like that, like a lot of the real people out there just aren't on the internet. Like
exactly.
you know, that's my feeling.
Yeah, I talked to you about my homeboy
You know,
Josh.
we'll meet
like,
these
dude,
people at the gathering.
Yeah, exactly. I do. Maybe I just need to hear their side and why they're doing. Maybe that's like their hustle or something. Which I don't. I would not. That doesn't make sense to me. But I get it. You know. I just. It's just. It's starting to become one of them communities like the comic, you know, community, you know, where motherfuckers are always buying shit to sell it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just, we just gotta, you know, keep our shit together in a sense, you know, and that we will. You know, it's people like us within our sub community of juggalos that are, you know, keeping the pathway lit for people, like-minded individuals, and that's why we got to keep our heads on straight. But unless you had something else, I would like to get back into this pitch dark track here.
Yeah, you know, I just had one more comment just to let you know where we're coming from if you couldn't already tell. I made a comment online not too long ago that people like to say this juggalo shit, it's not about the music, it's about the culture. Where do you think the culture comes from?
The fucking music. Thank you for bringing that up.
You know, we're here to talk about the music. We're not here to talk about other juggalos, really.
Exactly.
Like, we're not here to call out anybody or whatever. I'm not here to gossip or stuff like that. That doesn't even enter my mind. It really doesn't. And when I went to Juggalo, Ohio, the best conversations I had were about music. Exactly. You know, that's how I was meeting people. You know, did you listen to the new Violent J single?
Yeah.
You know, that's how it goes. You know, it's this love. It's music, but it's also just like I don't love music. I love musicians. You know, exactly. And I love the people that love the same musicians that I do. This is people. You know, this is us. And this is how we're communicating to each other through music. Anyway,
but no,
I just had to get that out.
You brought me to another point too now. Yep. Speaking of the whole Gossip Girl shit, man, like this, well, actually going back to your original point, whoever said that it's about the culture needs to reevaluate what this juggalo shit is actually about. We got to go back to originally, like, what the fuck is a juggalo in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like, the music. It was the music.
Right. Why did anybody ever start painting their face?
Exactly, bro. Like, the music and the message of the Dark Carnival is what reached out to me and in turn embraced me, which allowed me to call myself a juggalo through and through. It touched me that well, you know, pause, no homo, whatever you want to say. But it's crazy to think that people can logically say that. Like, it's almost like those are the ones that are juggalos for clout almost. Like, it's like, oh, it's not about the music. So you're saying that you're a juggalo and you don't listen to ICP? Or anything psychopathic related? That doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't even want to think about it. I don't know what that is. I don't want to know. You know, like, how? That's like, oh no, man, like, yeah, it's completely mind-boggling to think that some people operate like that, and I can't knock them for it, and that's cool. If that's how you get down, cool, just stay the fuck away from me. Period. And as far as the whole gossip shit, like, don't get it twisted. I have opinions on motherfuckers, man, but being the fact that this is usually all through the internet and it's not reality, not my actual reality, my truth, my life that I live every day. half these dweebs only exist on the internet. To me, I don't know them personally. So, you know, what do I look like given my precious time to get on here and talk about that motherfucker? Now,
it's the internet, and then it's also from what I have, gathered. There is a certain kind of festival culture at the gathering.
yeah,
that it doesn't matter if it's the gathering of the Juggalos or this music festival or that pagan festival or what have you.
yeah,
There is a certain kind of clickiness among these people where
yeah,
the reason that you're coming together isn't based on the thing that is bringing you together. It becomes just a group of things,
yeah,
a group of people and a club to belong to. And I'm not a joiner,
yeah. No,
the
we
music,
don't.
the music here brings me to you, and I'm not here to be in a club with you. This is
Yeah, no,
this is just
not
a
a
natural.
club.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is not a club, man. And people quit so quick to yell family, but they have that clique attitude, man. They don't. You scream family, but you only and you only talk to your inner circle. Like when I
Right.
meet juggalos and I actually get in a setting to where I can meet a juggalo in the right setting, I will try to embrace. I will give the benefit of the doubt. Like I believe in the family culture. If I can help, if I could be of some assistance, if I could be there, if I could be that person that you have to call in the middle of the night because shit's fucked up. You need somebody to just scream at for a second because shit's fucked up. That's who I'll be. But the culture that it's turning into, I do not want any parts to a lot of these cats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there is a huge age difference at the end of the day,
So,
bro.
some of these people need to remember we belong.
Yeah, they do. And then I won't get too deep into it, but we got to get rid of politics within this juggalo shit. That's only going to further divide us.
Yeah,
More.
that's outside world stuff. That's the wilderness. That
you know what I'm saying?
You don't ever hear about. You don't even I mean, there's politics to be discussed, but it's not left or right here on the juggalo side. It never was.
And it really shouldn't be. Like, I have my beliefs, you have yours. But what brings us together, at the end of the day, the fact that we are juggalos, the fact that we love the Dark Carnival, the fact that we love ICP, the fact that the Dark Carnival has reached out to us and grabbed us in some kind of way. So
Yeah.
me being conservative has nothing to do with me and you being juggalos and building that bond off of that.
It was always fuck the president. It wasn't like fuck your president, my president's better. That's how it always was.
Exactly.
On the juggalo side.
Now it's turning that, I mean, it's kind of cool to see at the end of the day what things have turned into, like as far as a lot of us juggalos that have grown up, we were the little shit talkers back in the day. Now some of us have grown into very political individuals. I mean, and that's great to see how much you've grown, but leave that shit elsewhere, man. Like you know what I mean? Like no one, I've never seen it yet, but once I see a MAGA hat with a hatchet man on it, I might fall out. And don't get it twisted. I do have a MAGA hat, and some people get pissed. But at the end of the day, let's all remember what the fuck we are here for, and why, and what has brought us together. And that's that doesn't just pertain to me or you. This is pertaining to whoever is watching. Let's remember why we come together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all come from different backgrounds. So we can't let politics separate us if we're not letting just our background separate us. You know what I'm saying? Like I come from gang
That's
culture.
how they get you.
Exactly. I come from gang culture. I'm not letting that get rid of. And I remember back in the day, that shit, motherfuckers used to try to separate that, like, oh, well, you a gang member, so you can't really, are you going to be a juggalo or are you going to be a gang member? No, I'm going to be me. And yes, I am a juggalo who happened to at one point gang banged in my life. So, if I didn't let that get in the way of me being the juggalo, let's not let all that other bullshit get in the way. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and that's the brass tacks of my little rant there.
That was a great rant. I feel like that was a lot of stuff that we needed to get out there in the open. This is a great episode so far.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. And yes, we got to be truthful. I wish I could come on here and be like, some of the other outlets that, yeah, man, this is, so we're going to get into Pitch Dark. And yeah, what do you think about this song? Yeah, it's cool. Hell yeah, that's what's up. This song is cool. Hell yeah, this is Pitch Dark, man. Awesome. Yeah. No, we want to connect. We want people like-minded individuals, or if we could school you, cool. If you could school us, cool. Let's do that. But anyway, all right, let's get into
that's what we like.
Exactly. Let's get into Pitch Dark. There's actually something I noticed about this song, and let's see if you noticed what I noticed. I'll see.
Okay. Yep. Pitch Dark.
Do you recognize the sample?
Okay. What's the thing that you noticed?
The sample.
Yeah. What is it?
Too Short, cuss words.
Oh, okay. Now, okay. I'm gonna say, yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We got to get.
What I noticed about this track today is that this is the same flow that Esham used on My Homie Got Shot.
Okay.
And he even does the
Yep. And they both got that from Too Short's cuss words. And
okay.
I'm actually happy to see Jay do this, because he's still letting us know where he gets his inspiration from. He's still paying homage to the artists that inspired him, which we can always count on Jay to do. He's always uplifted those that he got inspiration from.
That's who he is.
Yeah. I love that about him, man. Like, because, me as an artist, that's the era we come from, being able to show how hip hop we are. At the end of the day, like, from wearing shell toes to wearing my pants a certain way to wearing certain outfits to whatever, like, it's all representing hip hop in a whole, and that's what I've always loved, about ICP is they at the end of the day, people can write them off as a rap rock band or whatever the fuck, alternative, but to me, they're hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they sampled a Too Short song, and this isn't the only, hip hop song they've ever sampled, but to see them do that, to see him do this in 2023, 2022, 2023, it says a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? This was a highlight on the album for me.
They're embracing their 80s side, especially these days. I feel like they just seem to, like, they grew up with music in the 80s. That's what they know. That's what they love. And
yeah,
I appreciate them just representing that and being true to themselves.
Yeah, because I feel like for a second there, they were kind of getting lost in the sauce trying to find their place in today's sound. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And all they had to do is just keep it original. Stick to who they are. They love Too Short. They love Ice-T. They love Ice Cube. They love all that shit. So they just continue to embrace that within their music. and they can't go wrong. That's that's a lot of artists, man, trying to find themselves in
Yeah.
today's
This
climate.
this was another track that had to grow on me, but I do love this track now.
Let's see. Pitch, yeah. See, when it got like this, kind of threw me for a loop when it got to this part. But you at the end of the day, this is something that they've always done. It actually takes me back to like fuck your rebel flag. The infamous switch ups they've always done in their music. You know, they they go
Right.
to
Okay, I see what you're
a different
saying
beat.
now.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like the
Hmm.
switch up. I think that's always been a very important element to their music since day one. And this, I'm actually happy to see shit like this. It kind of threw me for a loop in the beginning when I first heard it. Like, well, okay, the sudden switch up, but it had to be reminded, like, this is what they do. This is what they do, and
Hmm.
I'm glad to see that they can still incorporate that with a modern sound.
Right.
So yeah, Pitch Dark is definitely a highlight for me on this album.
Okay, and if I remember correctly, the next track is one of my favorites. It's another one where Violent J gets to sing. That's
Yep,
No
No
Friends.
Yep, that's it's actually, this is another highlight. See, I feel like as the album played, it got better and better for me, and then it got to some good pussy, which we'll get into when it's time. But I really do like this song. I could relate to it a lot.
Hmm.
It just goes to show, like, dude, as adults, like, think about how many homies. I don't. Then again, I can't really speak for you, but I can speak for myself. I can think of, even over the past 6 years, how many homies have like came and gone that motherfuckers I was cool with for a while, but we grew apart for whatever reason. And the older I've gotten, the more introverted and alone I've become. Like, from working so much to quitting certain habits. It's crazy. I think I told you, like, once I quit drinking, a lot of people disappeared because I used to front the bill so people would come
Hmm.
and hang out and drink with me, and I'd have a house full of people, damn near a party, as long as I was providing something. So this is something, what he's talking about in this song is something I've actually felt for a long time, and it was very reflective and retrospective for me when I heard this. Yes, he's doing that singing thing you're talking about.
But as far as the melody of the chorus goes, I love this song. Like, this is one of the few ICP songs that actually moves me, just based on the tune of it,
Yeah,
and the way he delivers, the way he sings it. It comes across to me. It actually really works, this track, and
yeah.
the lyrics, or they I don't know, they hit me.
It it sucks that you know the song about basically loneliness is hits us so hard. It really shouldn't be that way, but the reality of it, that is how life is sometimes. I'm not, but are you gonna
Well,
let that tear you apart though? Are you gonna this
right.
because you're not always up under someone? Does that mean that like you're any less
I
of a
really
human
have
being?
to wonder why it is. Why is it that Violent J feels this way? I mean, he's been writing about loneliness for his whole career, basically. And he's got to be like surrounded by family at this point, and everybody he knows. But
So
I think that's one of the main thing attracts Juggalos to the music, is because this is somebody who knows how to present that kind of pain to people.
yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Well, I think Jay's issue a lot of the time is he seeks connection, but often realizes that a lot of people only fuck with him to gain something, whether it's something that he can do for them. Like, I mean, there's a certain individual that we all seen in recent time doing something similar to that. That if he probably would have just kept it quiet, Jay would have worked with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so, Jay's been down this road so many times. I can kind of feel that because I've been that guy before. Motherfuckers it seemed like certain people only would mess with me to gain something, or they knew I was a certain kind of way. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than when you realize that, like, damn, how I feel is really not being reciprocated, by this other person who I really give a fuck about, and I'm really trying to see shine, but it's not being reciprocated, and that will cause loneliness. That will cause you to feel alone. But yeah, enough of the somber. Unless you had something else to say about it, we're now on a Scatterbrain. You there?
I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear? I wasn't saying anything. Can you hear me? Can you hear the music? Scatterbrain is crazy. We're having some technical difficulties with Mr. Reef here. Let's see if he pops back up. If not, I'm just gonna have to edit this part out and then redo it, do some crazy stuff to it, But this is Scatterbrain. I really can't tell you how I felt about this song. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's super basic. You back?
Okay, yeah, I'm back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is Scatterbrain. It's pretty self-explanatory. It sounds like what he used to do back in the Bizarre days. Like a character doing wild shit. Like do you remember Forgotten Freshness 3, that song Something? He used to be from, it's just he's saying a bunch of wild shit. That's what it is to me,
This track reminds me more of Insomnia from Yum Yum Bedlam. And I think this is one of the things I love about new Violent J, is that he's really tapped into, I want to say it's the dream consciousness.
Yeah.
Because when you're, especially in between being awake and asleep, your thoughts don't make a lick of sense at all.
Right.
So that was part of the concept in Insomnia, because he's trying to go to sleep and he's not quite there, and he has that stream of consciousness and it doesn't make any sense, but the Flintstones are involved, and there's a teddy bear eating a clown or something.
Yeah.
And this is another one of those tracks where he's just super abstract, and I've never heard a rapper do anything like this.
Yeah, no, Jay's really good at at conveying chaotic thoughts, like
Yeah.
how a lot of us think. You know, he's that vivid imagination and storytelling ability that he has. Like, because I know exactly what he's talking about. I have that shit happen to me all the time. Like, right as I'm going to sleep, like I basically like get into this half sleep, half awake state to where I start having like these just weird dreams. They're like, they might be 10-second long, is what it seems like, but they're just so weird. Like, or that weird jolt I get sometimes as I'm just laying there trying to fall asleep. And
Yeah.
I've always liked the fact that Jay addresses mental health issues, which the more I look at it, it's kind of helped me over the years to realize that mental illness is pretty fucking normal within
Yeah.
every individual. You know,
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth?
From depression through schizophrenia. There's a lot of people that don't know that they're schizophrenic or bipolar because they're not in touch with mental health, or they just don't know. Or they just think they're like sociopathic and they don't think anything is wrong with them. And oh yeah, did you have anything else on Scatterbrain?
On Scatterbrain, no. This track is the Mikey Clark track.
Yeah, that shit. Hey, bro, you could tell that shit right away, bro. I was sitting in the car slapping this shit. I was like, oh, this sounds like some of that 90s right here. You know what I mean? Like that snare. This shit's a slapper, bro. This shit's a slap for sure. I fuck with this. It took me back. Yeah. This is one of them ones for sure.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. I've heard some people, of course, complain about this album, saying that they need to go back to the '90s type of stuff. But I'd say overall, this is their most similar to anything they put out in the '90s. You know, like even the opening intro had like the bells and the wolf howling.
Yeah.
This is the wicked shit that people had been asking for, like the old school ICP wicked shit that people have been asking for. So nobody should be complaining.
No one. Hey, you know what though? That shit's such a moot fucking point though. Like, oh man, they should do it like the '90s again. Well, they already did it. They already did the '90s in the '90s.
Yeah,
they can't keep doing the same shit. And if I guarantee, bro, like if they would make like a complete '90s album, even go back to using the technology of the '90s, Juggalos would
which
still
they
complain.
did. They did. They did it on Bang Pal Boom and Mighty Death Pop. Like Mikey Clark dragged out the old equipment for those albums. And yeah, you're right. People did complain. So I don't know.
You know, so that's why, you know, the Peanut Gallery Juggalos just need to shut the fuck up. If you don't like it, just don't listen to it. Go back and listen to Malenko. It's still there. It's available on streaming services. You don't like it?
It still sounds great.
To Ringmaster. It still sounds great.
You go buy it 10 times.
But you know what's crazy though? It's a lot of these people that want the '90s sound are the people that weren't around in the '90s. Like, oh man, go back to that '90s sound. Like, bro, you weren't even there. Chill out. Listen to that shit over and over again, like we did back in the day.
I feel like a lot of those kinds of fans are just trying to sound like they know what they're talking about. Because I've definitely seen that in other fandoms where they're like, oh yeah, well, you know, the early stuff was cool.
Exactly. And meanwhile, you're sitting there talking to a 13-year-old. Like,
I don't want to keep bitching about fans.
You don't have to, because I do. Fuck them. I mean, it's a big part of what's going on. The criticism plays a big part in what Jay goes through constantly, and that criticism comes from his own fans constantly. You know, like some people will just never be satisfied, and that's just the truth of the matter. I can't say that I've been the best at times, but I'm pretty vocal on what I do and don't like. It's never been, oh man, I wish they would just be the '90s again. You know, it's always been like, damn, why does Jay's voice sound like that? Or but now I know why his voice and cadence and tones have changed over the years. But yeah, no, the fans are the fans, and back to this good old album. This is something I haven't really dug too deep into horrendous ways, as deep as I should have by now. I don't know about you, so I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Oh, which track is this now?
Horrendous Ways, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, this is a long one. You know, people are going to think that I'm a contrarian saying this, but one of Violent J's skills is the storytelling thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's not my favorite thing that he does. He's great at it.
Yeah.
But I really only like it when it's funny. Or, yeah, basically when it's funny. If it's just a story, like In My Room, that's not funny to me. And that's not one of my favorite tracks either. So this has a couple of almost funny moments, but
yeah,
this isn't one that I connected with real hard.
Yeah, I feel that one. I feel that for sure. Like, I feel like I just need to listen to this a little deeper and just kind of digest it. You know, I think it kind of placed wrong as far as the sequencing. I don't know where I would have placed this song, but I just feel like, I don't know, like after what we just heard and then going into this, I feel like it should have just been put somewhere else, maybe. Or maybe off the album completely, I think.
It fits the concept. I think that the placement is fine. It's just not one of my favorite things that Violent J does. And I can appreciate that other people do love that this kind of thing.
Yeah, no, Violent J, I've always marveled him as a great storyteller, and I love the stories he tells, man. Like, because it's not an easy thing to do. Trust me, I've tried to write storytelling raps and shit, and it's hard to get as detailed as he actually gets. It's not I gotta commend the ethic and the skill that it actually takes to convey a story, maintain a rhyme scheme, and do it in an expedient manner to where everybody understands it. Like from Under the Moon down to 12 to The Killing Fields to Verily. You know, the list goes on. Like, the motherfucker wrote The Wizard of the Hood, bro. Like, come on. Like,
yeah, but that was like, hilarious. That was clever and funny too.
Yeah, I mean, but not all stories are going to be funny. So, but I feel like he's always added some type of element of humor. Whether, like, think about it, in Killing Fields, that's not a funny song at all. But there are humorous elements to it. You know, like, if you
it was surreal.
Imagine, yeah, like imagine a baby billy goat with a human's head. You know, and it's screaming, "Let me be, let me be." You know, like it's a humorous to visualize, to think about, but
in a sick way.
Subject matter, yeah, like in a subject matter, the subject matter is dark and something that you have to reflect on eventually. So, and that's the reason why I can't really comment too much on this song.
One thing
I don't know. Go ahead, sorry.
One thing that I do appreciate about this track is the production, and it is Violent J's own production, from what I understand. And it catches a certain mood that, I don't know, it's eerie, and then it has a couple of moments where it it sounds chaotic. So I do enjoy this aspect of the track, that it's,
Yeah.
especially during the chorus, it has like that, I don't know, it's just eerie and kind of sounds haunted.
Yeah, no, I could definitely, I could hear the eeriness. I get the tone. I get why it fits, but like I said, in my opinion, this could have been left out in a sense, like, because looking at the track listing and looking how it's sequenced, if it went the stiff and then Some Things in My Room, I feel like that would have been more of a fluid transition. Like from the stiff to Some Things in My Room to the Herder, or maybe the stiff to A Harrowing Time. I mean, the album closes good with with Some Good Pussy. I feel like maybe, but even this song, even Horrendous Ways, I couldn't see it being a closer either. So that's just my only gripe, honestly. And I need to digest this song. I need to digest it a little bit more and actually see what I can connect to. I like the beat though. That shit is very has a vibe to it for sure.
And as far as the subject matter goes, it is about a really dark thought. Like it's amazing how many people and creatures on this planet die in such, life is so fragile.
Yeah.
And so it is definitely a dark thought, and it's not an easy thing to think of. It's not easy to think about death. So I can appreciate that he was drawing on that type of difficult thought.
Right. Right.
And it's not just because like war or murder, like people just happen to die because of accidents.
Yeah, no, and that's something I've appreciated about him too, is he makes you face mortality. Thinking about death and how it becomes is not something that people want to think about. It's not something you want to sit at home and just ponder on. It's very unsettling and makes you feel uneasy. But Jay helps you face it and somehow makes you think about it and ponder on it and comfortable with it. Like at the end of the day, no one wants to die. We are supposed to speak life into things, but Jay just reminds you, like, this is what happens and this is how it can happen.
Yep, and, everybody dies.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just the truth of the matter. And now that ever since you pointed out that picture of Jay in the corner, I can't unsee it now. I'm looking at this. You're like, man, looks like he's staring at me now. I'm just playing, but
yeah,
no.
So this track, Something in My Room, this is something that he talks about in his book. He's been and I assume that he's honest about it. He's experienced something like not just sleep paralysis, but shadow people. And so this song has a kind of a funny spin on it. Like he wants to like make friends with it and, have a little slumber party with it and maybe get a little freaky with this spirit or whatever it is in his room.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is the gorilla in the room when it comes to Violent J's creative process. Like, what is going on with these spirits that supposedly he believes in, that visited him as a child or early in his career or whatever it is? It's something really weird. that
Yeah,
I don't know how to talk about it, but it's there. And, the whole Dark Carnival thing, I don't know how seriously he takes it, but I mean, it kind of sounds like he does. Maybe he doesn't know exactly how to talk about it anymore because he didn't talk about it that much, but it sounds like he's trying to tell us something. He's out there.
Yeah, I've also pondered on whether like is Jay schizophrenic maybe? Or like are these things, are these figments of his imagination that come in? Does he live in a different reality than all of us? I mean, I could see how, with a lot of the concepts and ideas that he's able to drum up just from, his delusions of grandeur. Because a lot of shit, now that we're not kids anymore, you're able to, make sense of a lot of things. Like, man, that doesn't make any sense now. But still, the kid in me wants to believe everything he says about how the Dark Carnival was created and how it all came about, instead of seeing it as some type of gimmick now. But
yeah, that's
I don't
something
know.
I
Go ahead, sorry. You've been frozen for like the last 15 minutes, brother. You everything good over there?
as far as I know, yeah. Let me
Well, as
see
long
if
as I can
there's.
hear you, you're good. I mean, maybe you can refresh your camera, turn your
Let me
camera on and
see.
off. The herder. Was waiting for my man Reef to get back in here. Fucking technical difficulties, man. It's just that kind of for sure. Like the herder, and still like Jay's really tapping into his bag. Part of me wanted so bad to say that he kind of phoned it in on this album, and he didn't. Still can't see you, brother. Yeah, no, the herder is awesome. Like I said, Jay didn't phone it in at all. Like I wanted so bad to be like, yep, this is gonna be. And yes, I guess I'm a negative fan in a sense because I was like, man, you rushed this motherfucker out. It's gonna have a bunch of bullshit on it, and such and such and such and such. But I was proven wrong. He actually did his motherfucking thing on this. Like, it's a good piece of art. It's a good piece of work. Violent J, at the end of the day, man, he needs his flowers. I really hope to see one day that he gets his acknowledgement. A lot of people. Let's see. My man, is it gonna work this time?
Yeah, can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you. Your screen is black.
Hmm.
No, it's oh, there you go. Let's see. Yeah, no, screen's still black. It's all good. If I have to edit some shit, whatever. But
Yeah.
no, it's all right.
So
We
yeah,
could just
that was the herder, and that's obviously like some kind of outtake from Wicked Vic. It's Shaggy the Airhead doing that. He's sampling some old Calliope merry-go-round record on the beat, and it's got one of those ICP cartoony choruses.
yeah, it sure the fuck does, and that's what I was saying while you were in the gulag. Like
Yeah,
part of me wanted so bad to be like, yep, Jay phoned it in on this album. He just threw some shit together and he gave it to us, and that's not the case at all. He actually got in his bag on this motherfucker, man. He really did his thing. He gave us a little bit of everything that makes him Violent J on this album. The
and
humor, the
yeah.
story, all that shit. Let's see, you there?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if it's this track, but there's at least one track on this album where I can hear how he wrote a verse for Shaggy and just recorded it himself.
Yeah, okay. The reference, yeah, I could see that for sure.
I think it was probably this track, so it was probably intended.
Yeah, because you could hear
Shaggy.
you could hear Shaggy on. I could hear Shaggy on that song for sure.
Right,
That would be the
and
perfect
just the flow of it is like I know that he writes a certain kind of flow for Shaggy.
Yeah.
So,
I will say right now, this is a harrowing time, and not really a fan of this song. Even when it came out, I wasn't really a fan of it.
I can appreciate it for the fact that it's kind of like the Dead One. Like it's he like specifically said that this was a sequel to the Dead One, and I actually think this is the outro to the album. And that the following track is just kind of like a single that gets tacked on to the end. Some albums are like that. Off the top of my head, do you know the Zombies Odyssey and Oracle?
No, you always ask me these very obscure albums. No, I need to check it out though.
That one, it's not real obscure. It's kind of like it came out the same time as like Sergeant Pepper, maybe even before that. And so the Zombies were a British pop group, and that album was a concept album, but at the end of the album was a song that didn't sound like the rest of it, and that song is A Time of the Season.
Yeah.
Time of the season, when love runs high. So the rest of the album doesn't sound like that, but then you get that classic single that and ICP even did a tribute to it on Fearless Red Fury. That was I'm So Low.
Okay.
I'm so low. Na, 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 na. I'm so low.
One thing I want to confirm though, was he able to get leg? Do you think Legs Diamond is on this song? It sounds like it at certain points. In the it's a harrowing time part of the hook. It sounds like either he's emulating Legs Diamond or Legs Diamond is doing some type of background or something, which is awesome. If Legs Diamond is making his return with the clowns, dude, I would be so fucking happy.
I never thought of that.
It sounds like it to me.
I know what you mean. Yeah, maybe that's something that somebody could ask Kuma. He would probably know about something like that. Yeah. That'd be really cool if it is, because when was the last time they worked with Legs Diamond?
Shit, man. I think maybe not the Marvelous Missing Link. I'd probably say, what's Juggalo Island on? Mighty Death Pop? I would like to say, yeah, the Mighty Death Pop is the last time they worked together.
Yeah, that would be incredible if you started working with them again.
He was such an integral part to their sound, bro. Like, dude, I love the Legs Diamond. Like, you know, he like as far as the skits, all the voices and shit he did, man. Like, he is basically the honorary third member of ICP, you know, as we know it today. If you ask me, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just did so much with all their classic albums and shit. You know, he's a very important part. You know, I guess he decided to walk away at some point. Don't know the reason. Never really looked into it. Part of me just doesn't want to know because I hope it's not anything negative or any type of fallout. I really hope not. So, but yeah, no, I hope they work together again soon, and I'd be happy to know that this is him on this harrowing time.
Yeah, and I hope he would come back for the 6th. Of course, another album that I could compare this to is Hell's Pit, because on that one I kind of feel like the last track is Manic Depressed. Is that what it's called? And then after that is Real Underground Baby.
Yep. You're right. I have it right here.
Right. So to me, this is the last track of Bloody Sunday. And then the next track, it's not a bonus track, but it's like an afterthought. It's a mouth cleanser or something, you could say.
Yeah, something to the palate cleanser, you know, something to
exactly.
Bring you back to earth real quick.
And as soon as I heard this song, I was in love. I didn't know what to expect, but to me, this song is just, first of all, it's got great instrumentation. This is good songwriting. It's funny. It's clever. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of touching too. And disturbing.
Man, yeah, it's just the cover for me that just, that's crazy. You know, it's just, you know, there is a such thing as just doing too much, man. And I gotta say, this cover is wild, son. Like nigga, he had to put the pimples on the booty cheeks for real. Like, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy, boy. But hey, you know, you got to count on Jay to do some shit like that and then put it on a t-shirt that you could wear. That's crazy.
A pink t-shirt, right? You made the pink t-shirt in the 5X, right?
Yeah, they got a couple colors. But, you know, they have the pink one. I think there's a black one. And I think maybe a teal one or a purple one. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is wild, son. This is wild. But at the end of the day, I respect the shit out of it. Like, man, there's a couple things I took from this song. It addresses obsession, and then it also, to me, addresses love. Not saying that I've ever felt this way or anything, but I could see the analogy. Like, damn, girl, I love you so much that, like, you are me and I am you. You know what I'm saying? You got some good. I couldn't ever imagine saying this to a female, but like, your pussy's so good, I'm a good pussy too. I don't know, man. But I could see different. And then I could also see this trying to, like, maybe it's trying to tap into the trans audience, you know?
Maybe. Cool, I mean, did you ever see the movie Ed Wood?
No.
Ed Wood it's based on a true story. He was a filmmaker who, he was a cross-dresser. And he made a movie about it at one point. But he explained to his girlfriend that, you know, I do this not because I'm gay, but because it makes me feel closer to women. And so there are all kinds of different reasons for people to wear, to cross-dress. And so, yeah, there's an element of obsession, with this song. I mean, it reminds me of that one Shaggy song, I Fucked a Cop, and at one point he starts talking like the cop. He stops himself like, damn, I'm starting to sound like the bitch. So there's a little bit of that in this song. And then it's also a song about accepting who you are and appreciating, hey, I think this person is so great, and maybe I'm great too. And now that I'm in a relationship with this person, I'm kind of learning to love myself. So
yeah, and I think this is kind of therapeutic for him. After the loss of his loved one, his girlfriend Lainey. I'm not saying this is some type of tribute, but I feel like this was therapeutic for him. You could hear the passion within his voice.
Yeah, it does have a hint of sadness to it. It's a funny song, but it is kind of haunting and
there's some melancholy to it.
There is a little bit of melancholy. Yeah, I think this song is a 10 out of 10. I didn't see that coming, but I really did love this song when it came out.
It's definitely a great closer for sure.
Yeah. Is it over?
Yep, album's done.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I was saying that this episode should be a couple hours long, and we did it.
Yeah, we definitely cleared it, man. This was a very wonderful episode. A lot of things.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you there? Because I don't see you. I promise you guys, we're gonna get these technical difficulties ironed out. Hopefully by the next episode. I got StreamYard basically figured out. 1 second. I'm move. That's stream. You there, brother? Yeah, like I said, we're gonna get these technical difficulties ironed out and figured out. So we don't have to keep doing this. I don't have to keep editing shit. I'm not really gonna edit too much because that's how transparent we are. We're not trying to be fucking MSNBC or any other type. We're not Joe Rogan. We're regular motherfuckers just like you, and that's who we're doing this for. That's who we relate to. Let's see. He's back. Yo, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, lost you for a minute, man. Like everything was, you're up here, but now you got a weird echo.
Oh, great.
But no, I was just telling the audience that, we're going to work on getting these technical difficulties ironed out.
Yeah, we'll fix that next week.
So, yeah. So we're not dealing with all this every time. But at the end of the day, we're transparent. We're not trying to be Joe Rogan or MSNBC or any of that shit. So we're just regular guys doing this shit. So all the flaws are perfection to me. So, but
this was a great episode, I think.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it, honestly. I can't wait to do the next episode. Which, speaking of, we're not confirming or saying what is, but we're going to throw out some ideas real quick. What would you like to see done on the next episode?
The next episode, I want you to pick an album.
Man, there's so many to choose from.
That's not something we have to do now. But yeah, what you got in mind?
Oh, man, I think we're going to stay in the psychopathic universe for a second here. I would love to do Colton Grundy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think that's
real Juggalo shit. Real Juggalo shit right there.
That is a Juggalo classic. Niggas are high off of PCP, meth, and crack if they don't like that album. That is a wonderful album. And man.
That's one of the best eras. All the family was in was in the Hatchet House.
Exactly, brother. I miss that era. I love it. I'm glad I was a part of it. So yeah, no, man. With that being said, due to all these technical issues and shit, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Again, I'm 007, the James Bond of the wicked shits, with my man
Mr. Reef, aka Violent J, the country singer, as you might see me online as.
Yeah, and this has been episode 3 of the 17 Wayz podcast. Thank you for watching. Continue to like, share, and subscribe, man. And you guys have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weekend. And we will see you next weekend. Peace.
Oh, wait, I forgot to say whoop whoop. Whoop whoop.